Who are you?
My name is Julio Fuaego. I'm out the south side of Jersey. Started making music when I was 17, right after high school during the summer 17. And it's been crazy ever since. It's been wild.
Why did you start?
I had a homie in high school. He was the only kid in our high school that was rapping. And I met him through basketball and shit. And he just came up to me one day like, yo, you should start rapping. And I always put it off. But then like as soon as I graduated, I was like, the fuck am I going to do? So I made a song, thought it was lit, and just like never stopped. I fell in love with it.
What was that first song?
It was called Bling Bling Boy. It was off of a YouTube beat. It was like a trap beat. And I thought it was fire at the time. Definitely better than some of the first songs I've heard from other people, but it's still trash compared to like what I have now. But it was funny as hell. I'll definitely play that in the future.
So definitely went on quite a journey to get where you are skill-wise, lyric-wise. How would you describe that journey of kind of coming into your own sound?
It is to find yourself in a new scheme of things in life, whether it's music or any type of artistry, whatever you do. It's a very long journey, very trying journey, but you jump through all the hoops and eventually you find something that works for you and you build your process and it becomes a beautiful thing. It definitely was a lot of trial and tribulation, errors, but that's what makes the journey beautiful.
What's been the biggest obstacle during this journey?
Your own mind. I like to listen to outside sources just for an opinion, like what do other people see type of scheme, but it's always been me up here. It's always just like, what do I want to do? What do I think is right and wrong, and what's going to work and what's not? What sounds good? What sounds like trash? You're your own biggest enemy, but your own biggest supporter at the same time.
That kind of brings me to the flip side. Now, what's been your biggest motivator?
The dream, the final destination, I've made it point. The point where you have millions in your bank account, millions of people know your name, and I'm doing this shit as a living. I don't have to work at the 2 warehouses I work at anymore. I'm doing music full time. I get paid for just who I am and my sound and my artistry. I have the big mansion with all the cars, and the biggest dream is making sure everybody I love never has to go to work again, like taking care of my people. I'm just not doing it for me. It's also for everybody I love, everybody I fuck with. Shit, I'm gonna turn up this office too, bro. I want to take care of everybody. I'm a very big-hearted person. I want to make sure everybody I know is good. Nobody has to struggle.
Who's the first person you're giving back to?
My mother.
What does she get?
My mom gets everything, anything and everything she wants. You know what I mean? She's been my biggest backbone. Even throughout all of life, bro. Not even fucking music-wise. Like, my mom is my backbone. That's the homie. She's the GOAT. For sure, I'm gonna get her whatever she wants.
What's the first thing you're getting yourself?
Honestly, bro, I've thought about that so much. Like, so much. I think I'm going to start off light because as soon as you get a deal, you don't want to blow all your money. You want to be smart. I feel like I'd buy myself a little place, not even a mansion yet, just like a little 3-bedroom house or whatever. Nice car, not a bunch of cars, one car, maybe, a little Camaro or something. And then invest in other things, stocks, what is that called? Property, just any avenue you can take because music, to get to where you really want to be in life, like wealthy, not even rich, you got to have other things going on other than one. There's a whole scheme of things to it.
Are there any side quests that you think about? Any, you know how Shaq's got DJ Diesel going on? Like, is there any acting in the works? Any side quests you think about ever?
There's been a couple. I've always wanted to try, like, stand-up comedy because I'm a funny motherfucker. So, like, I've always wanted to try I like making people laugh. I've always been, like, the class clown type. I like to make people smile and shit. So maybe do some comedy. I've always had in the back of my mind that I want to be a porn star on some crazy shit.
We talked about your first song, and I'm sure that was a fun project to start with. What was either the indicator or the song that like really made you realize and think that you could do this?
It wasn't really a song. It was more of the game changer was when XXX DM'd me. And the conversation is still on my Instagram. It was right after he got out of jail, and his name was still Heroin Father on Instagram before he changed it to like XXX. He still had the picture of his hand with the tattoo on it as the profile picture before he changed it to the globe or whatever. It was right after he got out of jail when he started blowing up, and the reason that happened was because my cover art guy, he had made him a custom painting, and X hit him up like, yo, I want to buy this. And my boy was like, yo, my man just started making music. He's a real big fan of you. You should DM him and just give him some words of encouragement. And so it was like 12 at night. I was at my boy's crib high as hell, and I got a DM from X, and I threw my phone across the room. I didn't even read it yet. I had an asthma attack. I was like, bro, holy shit. Like, I started losing it because X is my biggest idol. I have plenty of tats for him. I've been a rider since before everybody else even knew who he was, before he blew up. I'm a day one Colt follower. So I saw that and I lost it. And he was just like, follow your dreams and record music. And I was just like, I appreciate you. Like, for real. You're my biggest idol. And he was like, thank you for supporting me. It was my turn to support you. And that was it. It was a little 5-minute conversation, but that right there is when I was like, I'm doing this for real. It's not just a hobby. It's not just something for fun. Like, I'm taking this all the way. And ever since then, I haven't taken my foot off the gas.
That's honestly like a really inspiring story.
It was amazing, bro. It was cool. It was a feeling I couldn't even put into words.
So that brings me to the next part, which is, what is the story that you want to tell and what do you want to leave with the world?
The biggest thing I stand for is individuality. You can do whatever you put your mind to. No matter what anybody says to you, or whoever doubts you, whoever believes in you, don't listen to the outside sources. As long as you put everything you have into something, anything is possible. And happiness is the biggest goal in life over everything, whether you're rich or poor. As long as you're happy, nothing matters. Individuality, just follow your dreams. You can do anything you put your mind to.
Is happiness the root of how you write your songs, or what's like your process, would you say?
My songs definitely don't depict what I stand for. I kind of make music as more of a venting. I make music for fun, but I also do it to vent. I have a lot of different sounds and things I rap about. I've had some albums that were more lo-fi and depressing. Most of my stuff is obviously trap music, and I'm real angry and I'm just talking my shit. But, you know, I've started I've started experimenting with like auto-tune and making like more Travis Scott, like good vibe type music, auto-tune stuff. It's really just, the core of it is the hobby, but the big picture is always in the back of my mind. I just make whatever I like and make whatever sounds good. But there's always a reason for everything behind the scenes, for sure.
Who are some, besides X, who are some other idols, inspos, and what kind of has brought you to the sound you're at?
I would say my top 3 or 4. As I said in Tap Out, I want to get signed by either Rob Banks, Lucky, or Travis Scott. And I feel like those are the 3 guys that my sound emulates the most, because my trap music is really Rob Banks-ish. I've made a lot of lo-fi, like druggy, Lucky sounding music before. It's like my secondary go-to, because I feel like it tells a different story. And the auto-tune Travis Scott stuff is just like for fun. I love it. It just sounds fantastic. But when I first started, it was more of like X, Wi-Fi's Funeral, Earl Sweatshirt were like more of the sounds I went to. But as you go through life, no matter what you do, you're going to evolve and change. And so I'm sure my sound isn't even going to be like this, like it is right now forever. But as long as you have that skill under your belt, you can always go back to it. It's like riding a bike, you know. The biggest goal I have is honestly just to make a song with everybody I fuck with in the music industry, just to have a song featuring whoever, or maybe an album, conjoined song. I wish I could have a song with X. That is the biggest goal I think I could ever say out loud, is if I had a song with X, like, I could die tomorrow happy, for real. But obviously, like, Rob Banks, Lucky, Travis Scott, I want to make songs with them. A lot of other artists I listen to is like ESTG. There's this one UK artist named 451. I just found him. He's more of like a R&B type. Whole lot of names, bro. If I had it written down, I would have a list so long. But it's like, I just want to make music and just do it with whoever has the same interest as me. I don't play favoritism in real life. If you fuck with me, I fuck with you. No matter who you are, what sound you make, where you come from, whatever, bro. I just want to work and love. It's more of just the love for music and just the love for the knack.
Who do you think are the guys that are going to come up with you?
That's a hard question to answer because the Jersey scene is so wishy-washy. I love Jersey. I love music in general. I love anybody who has the same interest as me, like I said. But, you know, in Jersey, it's really, you got to always be on 10 toes, keep your head on a pivot, because one day people fuck with you and they're talking so highly of you, and then the next day they switch up and they are against you now. You go from a friend to an enemy, and they switch sides, and they have their own motives. But that's why it's like I kind of really stick to myself for most of the time I've made music. I've always had like little groups I've put together, and then we're cool for like a couple months, and then it falls apart. I've always had like a person that I like duo with, and then it just goes south. You don't talk no more. You make some records, and then they go do whatever. You stop talking. It's not even like it's on bad terms. Some people, yeah, some people not. But there are two people that throughout all of the years have always stuck around, and that's my boy Mark. He goes by Kaido Bosk. I'm the reason he started making music. I put him on. I showed him what it is, and he's fire. He's fantastic. He's living in Texas right now, but he's like my protege, and he's really talented. I fuck with him. I will make sure he gets taken care of for sure. And then the kid that I started rapping with, his name is Brendan, but he goes by Idolan. He makes like fire music, bro. He's fire. He's been doing it longer than me. I've been doing it maybe 6-7 years. He's been doing it since he was like 10. And he's fire. I'm going to make sure he's taken care of too. But other than them two, I mean, obviously my immediate friend group of my people that support me and shit will be taken care of. But the two artists that make music would be them two. And we're like the trio. We have songs together, collaborations, albums, all that. But other than that, bro, it's sad to say it out loud, but that's really all I got, because the Jersey scene, like I said, is so just weird. It's a different scene out here.
How does that feel, the commodifying of music and how everything has to be taken into account in terms of how is this going to create revenue? How is this going to create streaming profits? How does that feel as an artist?
At first, I wasn't confident, so it was like, how am I going to sell any type of music or product if I don't even like what I'm doing? And that's when you got to go back to the drawing board and figure out what works for you, what doesn't, what you like, what you don't. And then once you have confidence to it and you've been doing it for a little bit, you find your process, you find your step-by-step. It gets a little bit easier to be confident, believe in yourself, and I feel like that's where it starts, is within you. If you're not confident, the people are going to feel that. Like when I'm performing, I'm faking that I'm confident. I hate being in front of this crowd, but like it's like sharks. The crowd is sharks. They could smell the blood. They could smell the fear. You have to be confident. You have to just chest out, chin up, no matter what you do. But with the music, once you find your way, it gets a little bit easier to sell your product and do what you got to do as an artist, as a businessman. And like I said, it just starts with you. As long as you have it under control, it'll come to you. You're manifesting it. So the more confident you are, the better your product, the more people will circulate. And I've seen it over the years. Started out, had nothing. And every year I've gotten a little bit better. I've gotten more and more people on the train. And what's to say in 3 years I'm not signing a contract, but in 3 years I could also still be where I'm at. It's just the process.
It's the game. You mentioned stages. What have been some of or one of the best experiences on stage in front of a crowd? Give me something.
I have a video on my phone. It was from, I think, last year or 2 years ago when I still had short hair. It was, I was at Dingbats, and the entire crowd from the front of Dingbats to the back by the bar was just jumping for my songs. And it was the most electrifying feeling you could ever feel. Nobody was looking at me sideways like, oh, who's this kid? Or someone looking down at their phone like he's trash. Like every single head in there was jumping, looking at me like I was Jesus Christ on earth. Like jumping. It was beautiful. And that is the most, that's the payoff of this music shit, is when someone's like, yo, I fuck with your shit, or you're fire, or your music saved my life. Like that's what I aspire to hear, is just the, what is that called? People just like, they compliment it. I can't think of the word. The embracement of the people is just like, I fuck with your shit.
What's next?
You know, my motto of life is just same shit, different day, but I've been really coming onto this idea recently of maybe taking a break from rap and doing more like different sounding stuff, maybe some R&B, because like I said, I've been experimenting with auto-tune, and I'm learning FL Studio by myself in my basement. I'm redoing my whole home studio. I was thinking about changing the whole online persona and changing my name and all that, but I'm like, you know what,
What would you change it to?
I will have what I desire. Because that's like my original motto from like my druggy days. I was just high as shit one day on DMT, and it was just repeating in my head, I will have what I desire, I will have what I desire. And that's my like driving force for every day, is just I will have what I desire. So I got it tatted. Because it stands out, you know. Julio Fuego stands out, and the image I have now stands out. But I was just on a tip one day of like kind of just want to change everything. But I'm already established, so I feel like I don't need to change anything. Just experiment with new sounds, do something different, and just keep elevating. So what's next? I would say just different sounds, different types of content. I've been trying to get new content in there. And just doing stuff that isn't the norm, you know, doing shit I've never done before. In order to be successful, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You can't do the same thing forever. You got to turn the page eventually. So just doing abnormal shit, something out the ordinary. Get to know Julio Fuego, you know the vibes.